14, 12, 7 assists. Here he is after the Game 2 win.
John Dickinson, 95-7 the game. Draymond, what has been the key defensively for you guys as far as slowing down the lob game with them to Capella?
I think, it's always so tempting, once James get downhill to step up, but once you step up, they throw that lob to Capella, it's like a 90% shot for them. So you just got to trust your length. We got guys on James that has length. We got to trust that and then, pick and choose your spots. That's been key for us. We gave up a couple of them tonight that we shouldn't have, but they're great at that. So you're not just going to completely take it away every time, but as long as we can keep them to a minimum, it'll be good for us.
Draymond, Mark Berman from Fox Houston. Can you take us through from your vantage point, what happened with James' injury, and you went up and chatted with him before he left the floor for a second? Could you tell us about that as well?
We was fighting for a rebound, and I made a mistake and hit him in his eye. Just check on him. It's not about hurting anybody out here. I think so many times people forget, when a guy have an injury, you live that every day, every second of every day. It's not just about this game. So if his eye is messed up, he got to live that every day. And so just want to check on the guy. Because at the end of the day, it's bigger than basketball when it comes to injuries.
Fourth row, left-hand side.
Ron Krejci from the San Francisco Chronicle. You talked about the lobs to Capella, but what about the lobs you've thrown to Iguodala, Looney in the Clippers series? That play seems to have worked a lot for you guys. What do you kind of describe what you see when you get the ball in that situation?
I'm usually reading one defender. So most of the times it's Clay or Steph or someone in the corner, and they're not helping off. So I'm usually reading that bottom guy's defender, and just taking, trying to be patient and take whatever it is that the defense gives us. Whether it's, driving all the way to the hole and finish. I've had a couple of those in both of these series, or whether it's throwing a lob if that guy steps up. It's just kind of a feel thing. It's been something that's worked for us over the years. It's not just these two series. I think, the way people guard nowadays, we don't get it as frequent as we used to maybe in like 2014, 15, but nonetheless, when the play is there, you got to take it.
Fifth row, left-hand side.
Right here, Al Sarasovic, San Francisco Chronicle. Coach played the starting five for a lot of minutes tonight. Is that something you expected? And also, you guys really gelled and played some beautiful basketball out there. Can you talk about that group and whether you expect that starting five to play as many minutes going forward?
Oh, well, I think, for this particular series, that is our best lineup, against these guys. And so it's the playoffs. You're not preparing for a back-to-back. You're not preparing for 3 and 4 nights. We got 3 days off. And I think that probably played a big part in it. Steve, we got tomorrow off. We still got Thursday practice, Friday. Like, we got a lot of time to recover. And so, when those minutes are up like that, it is what it is. It's just what we got to do. You want to win the game. However many minutes we got to play, that's what we got to do. But, I think the most important thing is we have time to recover, and I think Steve understands that for sure.
Anthony Slater with The Athletic. Do you think that double T will and should get rescinded?
We'll see. I don't really get off into text anymore. It is what it is. We'll see what happens. I think it was a great officiated game. They let us be physical, both teams, and they made the calls that they need to make. I think it was so much. It's kind of disheartening, for a game that I love since I was a child, to see the talk over the last 2 days was nothing about basketball and everything about foul calls. Like, is that what this game is coming to? That the talk is going to be about foul calls? Like, I love the game of basketball, so it was fun out there tonight. Like I said, they let us be physical. They let us play the game of basketball, which I enjoyed. I ain't really worried about a technical foul. It is what it is.
Sixth row, left-hand side.
Draymond, Nick Friedel, ESPN, following up on that. Everybody, to start the game, was noticeably less demonstrative towards the refs. Was that something that you guys talked about at all going into the game, given all the talk that occurred after game one?
I think both teams just realized what the hell was going on the last 2 days. you can't really turn a blind eye to anything in today's day and age with social media and all these things. So everyone was aware of all the talk about officiating and about foul calls. Come out and play the game. And I think both teams did a great job of that. They weren't complaining about many calls. We weren't complaining about many calls because it's kind of embarrassing for the game of basketball how much has been talked about fouls and officiating. Like, what about beating your man? What about stopping your man? No one talked anything about schemes the last 2 days. It's all been about foul calls. So I think both teams were just locked in on coming out and playing the game to the best of their ability, and you got to give credit to both clubs. Both teams did that.
Second row, right-hand side.
Draymond, Carl Bushak, 95-7 the game. You guys held the Rockets to 20 points in the first quarter after holding them to 19 in Game 1. How important has that been to be locked in from the tip?
It's very important because that's a ball club that they get going, and they can become impossible to stop. So to start the game with that type of defensive intensity the way we did these last two games is key in being up 2-0 in the series.
Sixth row, left-hand side.
Draymond, your conditioning and your health seem to be in a really good place right now. Look like you're feeling really good out there. How much of a difference does that make into your game compared to especially last year?
It makes all the difference. All this year I don't think I was in great shape at all. And part of it was I wasn't healthy most of the year. So really just locking in and focusing on my body, getting it healthy and getting ready for this time of year has been important. And I feel great out there, and I think it's showing in my play. But, it's a long road for what we want to do. So just got to continue to do the things that I've been doing and continue to try to bring it on the floor. But, health plays a big part in that, and, it feels good to be healthy. I haven't been healthy in a while, so, it feels good to step out there and not have an ache. Sometimes during the year, it's like the toe injury. Like every time you step on that toe, put pressure on it, it was killing me. And so you kind of dread going on the floor. It feels good to go out there and be healthy and play the game that I love. Feeling with my body feeling good.
Second row, left-hand side.
Draymond, Mark, Medina Bay Area News Group. You guys obviously have a lot of talent and experience, but tonight, what do you think was key in having so much balance, from production standpoint?
I don't think anyone forced anything. When we needed Kevin to get buckets, he did that. When we needed Steph to control the offense, he did that. Klay got going. Andre started off the game. I think he had maybe the first 5 or 6 points. And so it's important because, when it's just one guy scoring or two guys, it allows the defense to kind of key on those guys. But when it's balanced like it was tonight, we're pretty tough to stop when it's going that way.
Great, thank you. Appreciate that.
Draymond Green, the small ball 5 in this so-called Hamptons 5 lineup, and for those of you who don't know why it's called the Hamptons 5, it's the 4 players who went to the Hamptons to convince Kevin Durant to come to Oakland as a free agent back in 2016. When they put Andre Iguodala in the lineup and take Andrew Bogut or whoever the center of the moment is out, that's the Hamptons 5. Why do they make sense in this particular series?
Well, they hurt you in a variety of ways. But two of the things that they've been talking about in the press conference, the Capella lob game is minimized by Draymond being the 5-man and being up in the pick and roll. And now the passes are occurring above the 3-point line, as you see in the tape here. Low man now has a chance to get in and make that play. If the pass is coming underneath the free throw line, it's near impossible to stop. Okay, so then offensively, Draymond playing out of the pocket, playing 2-on-1 or 4-on-3, puts him to his strength. That's his best offensive situation. So you have a guy that has a little bit of offensive limitations. You're now activating, this guy and putting him in his best offensive situation, where he's one of the best in the league at playing in the pocket.
Well, let's remember that this lineup makes them a very quick basketball team.
Yeah.
So those 18 offensive rebounds happened because of the effort that they gave, but also because of the type of bodies that were out there. They got to the ball first when the ball was on the floor, and so important to wind up with 14 more field goal attempts.
Iguodala and Draymond Green combined had 9 offensive rebounds in this game. And this is one great example of how much the game has changed in our lifetimes during your NBA careers as well, because not that many years ago, and in fact some matchups around the league now, if you put a 6'6" or 7 guy, Draymond Green, as your center out there, he's going to get posted up by a big, and the Rockets don't post up Clint Capella. It's not how they play.
No, the whole game has changed since.
Sure has.
Not with you, but you're more recent, but it has changed so much, and it really has changed your way of thinking at the defensive end of the floor, because with the rule changes that the NBA made, plus the offense